Well, hello, everybody, and welcome back. We're starting our number 7 podcast
Yeah,
already.
yeah.
Larry and Al search for the truth. So we're going to start off with a quote from your beloved Kimberly, who said that you search for the truth before the truth finds you. So I was going to ask you kind of what that means to you, and maybe why you think that's a quote that Kimberly uh, brought about.
Well, I would think that in the process of living, you are every day you're confronted with situations, and either you make the truthful situation, or you take the other way, the untruthful situation. But eventually, no matter which way you go, if you don't take the truthful situation, the truth will find you in the end.
Catch
It's
up
like
with you.
it's like when you're a little boy and you tell that lie, and your parents say, "Are you sure?" And you keep saying, "Oh yes," but you're not telling the truth. You see what I'm saying? Because I remember the one thing my dad taught me was that always tell the truth, because then you don't have to worry about covering up the lie.
Yeah. So a funny story.
Uh huh.
Um, I found out today because I saw my granddaughters, like I told you, play basketball,
Hmm.
and then we went back to their parents' house, my son's house, and my daughter-in-law, and she relayed a story about her one daughter, Riley, who was had a little meltdown last night at the restaurant because
Mm-mm.
she got caught doing something that she wasn't supposed to do, or and her mom and dad had told her not to do it, and she did it. And
Hmm.
so they kind of confronted her on it. And she said, well, yeah, okay, mom, I did it. I lied. And her mom said, what did you say? And then she started crying, saying, why do you keep asking me to keep telling you I lied? Why did you keep telling me I have to lie? I didn't. And so anyway, it was just interesting how even a little 6-year-old can understand how important the truth is. And we all been there, all done that. But it was just an interesting, timely thing. So that's Kim called you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway,
We had to go to a bar mitzvah today.
oh yeah, that's right. You told me about that. Yeah, no, that's good. That's good. So anyway, we were talking the other day about topics and said, well, maybe we could talk about sports. We both love sports. But what got me to thinking was last time we spoke, you talked about your three sport letter, 3 years in a row, all league, all city. I mean, all city. So what in your experience with sports and the success you had in athletics? What kind of truths did you discover about yourself and maybe about the whole system of sports?
Well, I played baseball, basketball, and football. And the sport that I liked the best was football, but the sport that I was best in was baseball. Now, if I had gone to any other school but McClymonds, I would have been starting on the basketball team as well.
Hmm.
But we, I think the beginning of my senior year, we lost our first game, and we were on a 61 game winning streak, and so we lost the first game to Richmond High, and we won every game after that, and won the TLC, and we beat Richmond in the TLC. But the thing about sport that I learned, you have to make a commitment, and you can't slack. Okay, that's the truth. Okay,
Mm.
if you want to be, and you have to be part of a team. Okay,
Mm.
it's not a, even though you play. There's 9 guys on the field at the time in baseball, but you got guys on the bench. You got You got guys over here and guys over there. I was a catcher. I was a catcher, and then my 11th grade year, the coach changed me to the outfield, a third, no, third base, outfield. But I was flexible. I realized that I could play any position on the field. And we had a kid that was very slow, was a good hitter, okay, but he couldn't play any other position but catch it. You got what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So what I learned was that you have to be flexible as if you're part of a team. Same thing with the football. Okay, I wanted to be a running back, but I played defense my junior year. I played corner and punted, and I punted in my senior year. In my senior year, I played tight end. So those are truths in life. Those are
Hmm.
truths. Sometimes if you're going to be part of a team, you have to be able to play where they put you. Okay, like when I went to Cal Poly, when I no, when I got out of the Marine Corps and I went to San Ana College, and I had played football since I was 19, and I was 25 when I got out of the Marine. I was 24 when I got out of the Marine Corps, so I went to San Ana College, and I told the coach, I said I haven't played football in X number of years, okay, and I said, only thing I want out of this experience is the opportunity to get a scholarship. And I don't expect to be played a whole lot. I was a third down guy. Okay, I went to Cal Poly and I competed for the fullback position, and that's where I played. I tried to play a little baseball, but I had lost it. Baseball is a muscle memory game. It's okay. Football is not muscle memory. Basketball is somewhat muscle memory, but not that much. But baseball is hand-eye coordination, but muscle memory. And you can't stay away from the game as long as I did and compete. I mean, when those guys are, guys are teenagers coming out, Orange High and whatever, and they were throwing the ball, boom, boom, and they were, and I couldn't keep up. But those are truths about sports.
Well,
As far
something you said really spoke to me about sports and the hard work that goes behind it and the commitment to the training and the development of their skills and the skill sets that go with any sport that you play. But there's no getting around the hard work and dedication needed to be successful. Would you say that's a truth?
that is the truth. And if you check high schools now, they eliminated. I don't even know if there's any two sport guys playing at all. You,
No.
you, you got what I'm saying? They eliminated that mentality. Either you're playing football, basketball, or baseball. And there's
Why do
no,
you think that? Why do you think that is?
well, because kids have become specialized. Okay, because when
Hmm.
when we were children, what did we do? We went out and played. We went out and hit rocks. Okay, we
Hmm.
went out and hit rocks, and if there was we put up a little thing for a hoop and for basketball, and we played flag football. Okay, so we did all three of them things. Okay, and there wasn't any uh, uh, um, little leagues where I was at. It was the boys club. Okay, that's
Yeah.
where you played. You would play baseball or basketball at the boys club. Okay, and if you lived in an affluent area, then you play little league in Oakland. They had the Saturday league, and all the kids from all over Oakland they had about 8 or 9 fields, and they would start at like at 8 o'clock in the 8 o'clock in the morning on each field, and they'd have teams playing all day long. And the next day you see a little name in the paper if you did good. You know what I'm saying? But we didn't have the registered little league like I coached in Yorba Linda. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So
Well, like you talk again about sports, and arguably the best quarterback in the history of the NFL would be like Tom Brady, for example.
oh yeah.
Well, how hard did that guy work his entire career? Would you say
Well,
he put in
geez,
extra work compared to
uh,
anybody of his peers?
the mental aspect of it. Okay, so what I saw is that he took good. He played for 25 years. Think about that in a
Hmm.
physical sport. He took good care of his body. He had good mental acuity and good physical acuity, and he played within his limits.
Hmm.
Okay, and his limits were good. Okay, but he was a smart young man.
Hmm.
Okay, but I don't think we'll never see another Tom Brady.
Well,
Okay,
how would you compare Tom Brady to Michael Jordan?
well, I would the guy I would compare Tom Brady to is Bill Russell.
Okay, yeah, right.
Bill Russell won 12 NBA championships.
What separates or differences are between, let's just go this way, then Bill Russell and Michael Jordan?
Well, Bill Russell was fierce. Okay, I remember I saw him when I was in the I was 14, and my dad used to work at Defirmery Park in Oakland. Paul Silas used to live over on the corner there, and he lived on the bottom house, and on top of the top house was the Pointer Sisters and Fritz and Aaron Pointer. Okay, so on Saturdays, everybody would come over to the infirmary, and Bill Russell and Casey Jones. That's when he was going to the University of San Francisco. They would play 3-man basketball. Okay, and Paul Silas was 14 or 15, and he was just getting ready to go to I think going out from the 8th grade, the ninth grade or the 10th grade to McClymonds. But those guys were fierce in doing what they did. Okay, Bill Russell went to McClymonds, and the coach that coached him, George Poles, he coached Frank Robinson, Vada Pinson, Kurt Flood, uh, Bill Russell. Uh, who else? Who else? This was in the early. This was in the 50s, 56, around about that time. From there, okay. I didn't get to Mac until I was in 60, 59, 60. I got there the second half of my 10th grade year. Okay, but all those guys, the one thing that we all did, we all grew up in the boys club, and so that's where it got started. But those guys did work hard. Okay, we did work hard, and then it did, and I think about us as teachers, Larry. Okay, you worked hard. Do you realize how hard you worked?
I don't know. I never really thought of it
Well,
as
think about the, but think
hard
about
other than,
the, but think about the time we put in. We get there at 6 o'clock in the morning. Okay, you're driving all the way from where you did. You leaving the house at 4 o'clock in the morning. You're getting there at 6 o'clock in the morning, and we're going from Santa Ana to Garden Grove all the way over to Stanton, and where else did we go?
Oh, we went to Westminster. We went
Westminster. Okay,
to
okay.
Fullerton,
Fullerton.
Anaheim,
Okay, Anaheim.
and Anna, of course. But yeah.
Okay, okay. But you see what I'm saying? And
Mm-hmm.
we had to coordinate all of those sites with all of those students. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
we had to be on point. Okay, remember you had the little boxes and stuff like that, and you had every site we had the boxes and the paperwork and the schedules and everything like that. Okay, it may not have seemed, and this is a funny thing about how do you feel about hard work. Okay, when you remember what they used to tell us about career, what's a career and a job. Well, when you're in a career that you like and you enjoy doing, it's not like it's work. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
You just it's the stuff that you do because you enjoy doing it, and I think sometimes the students picked up on like when we used to go banner back and forth, and students used to laugh, and they would pick on the fact that even though we went back and forth, we still liked each other.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and we were there to do our best job that we could do and have a little bit of fun.
Yeah, talking about liking things, and I always felt like the message I sent to the students was that whatever it is you decide you want to do, have a passion for it, love it, want to really do it, and you'll always be successful. Don't
Right.
just go into something because you think, well, it's the money and that's all I really care about, because really your success will be based on the passion and love that you have for what it is that you're doing. And I really believe that, and I believe that still to this day, that is really what you should try to convey to young people, and when you're working with them, mentoring them, teaching them. And anyway, yeah, I agree with you on that.
Well, because I think earlier we were talking about the who was the Z was the Z generation.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah, Generation Z.
Yeah, and we come down to where these young people they they can't even stand to go to work more than 4 hours.
Right.
Okay,
There's something. Yeah.
you know, sometimes I see them thinking about 8 hours it would be almost like a drudgery for them,
Death
but
sentence.
but but they have a different platform than you and I had. Okay, because they can monetize themselves and make money. Whereas when we were coming up, we had to go. We got what was it? When I started working, the minimum wage was 45 cents an hour.
Hmm.
Okay, what it was when you started working? What was it for you?
I think it was like about $1.65, maybe, is what and
Mm-hmm.
I remember working one summer, um, in between my junior and senior in high school. I worked full time in a nursery,
Mm-hmm.
plant nursery, and I would work 80 hours and get paid every 2 weeks, and I would be bringing home about $70
Yeah,
when they took taxes out.
yeah,
So yeah, and that was in the early '70s. So yeah, about a buck and a quarter, buck and a 50, somewhere around then was what the
yeah.
minimum wage was.
Because I remember when I first got out of the Marine Corps, I had a one bedroom apartment was $99 a month.
Mm,
Okay, that was in '68. $99 a month, and I had my little job. I was working at Swedlow, and I would go to work at what time? I go to work at 10, and I get off at 7, and then I go to class at 8 o'clock at the college. And I made enough uh, 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 working at Swedlow that I didn't have to use my GI Bill. And back then, what the GI Bill was, whew, it was 75, $80 a month or something like that. And then when I got married, it was 210
Why did you choose not to use your GI Bill?
because I was on a full time job.
Mm-hmm.
I was getting a full paycheck.
Right.
So why would I use because the GI Bill is a time limit on the GI Bill, okay, and so it's so many semesters, and so
Mm-hmm.
I use my GI Bill all the way up to graduate school because I would pay for my classes, and then what I would do is I would do the federal programs in corrections. I would apply for those programs, and they would pay for my tuition and books in graduate school when I was working at juvenile hall. So it was a whole lot of things that I found out. And I didn't have to use my GI Bill until down the when I got ready to complete for my masters. So I used to pay the money up front. It didn't get expensive until you remember they I think it was 72. They changed all the state colleges to Cal State universities. You remember
Mm-hmm.
that?
Yeah.
Okay, and that was for them to be able to, I think, to do teachers programs, and it would be able to give masters. Because when I first graduated, I would apply for the state for my teacher's credential, and
Mm-hmm.
the state would tell me what classes I need to take and where I need to take them. And as I completed the class, I'd send the information to the state, and that's how they would document you as completing the information for the credential.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you have a life a credential? Did you have a life credential?
No, I had the Ryan one
Okay,
where it was renewed.
all of my credentials are life credentials.
Yeah, I came in after you in
Yeah.
that system. Yeah, yeah. I go back to something you said. What drew you to corrections? I mean, what? I mean, there's so many
Oh,
fields.
you really
You
want
were,
to know?
yeah.
I was in the gym doing my. This was after. This was right close to. I had done football, and I was ready. I was taking. I was doing my senior project. That's all I needed to do to graduate. And I was in the gym, and the basketball coach came up to me and said, "Still, you're married." I said, "Yes." I said, "Yes, coach." He said, "Well, go over there to YTS. Tell him I sent you over there, and go get a job." I said, "Okay." So I go over to YTS and I apply and I get a job. Okay. And so I'm working
Why did
at
he send you there? Why did he?
well, well,
What was his
well,
connection, or why did he pick you to
well
do that?
because I was on the campus, and I worked in the gym, and I worked in the I worked on the science department. I worked at night. I worked there, and just that I was everybody. I was captain of the football team, and I was a decent kind of guy.
Yeah.
But he said, he said, well, and then one of the other guys that was on the football team was working. He's over there, so I went over there and I got the job, and I worked on a unit called WNX, and I worked there for. But when I graduated, I went to Orange County and I applied for all the jobs that had a bachelor's degree in Orange County. Okay, so I worked at YTS for a year, and then the job came up at Los Pinos, and then I switched from driving over there to going up to Los Pinos. And
Mm-hmm.
that's how I entered Orange County. I worked at Los Pinos for uh, about 4 years, and
Mm-hmm.
then I was young and fiery, and I quit Los Pinos one day because this is where truth came in. Because one of the guys that I came late to a meeting, and Von Rowley, you remember Von Rowley,
Sure. Right. Yeah.
okay? And he said, "Well, still, didn't you get the word on the meeting?" I said, "No, sir, I didn't." And then and the guy said, "Oh yeah, I told you." And I said, "No, you didn't tell me." And so I quit. I drove down the hill. From there, I drove down the hill, and they had a recreation job at juvenile hall. So I went in, had my shirt and tie on and everything, and I went in for going to do the recreation director job. Okay, so the guy, I can't think of his name, but you know what I'm talking about, the long haired guy, um, Cook,
Oh, Harold.
Harold Cook. So he interviewed me, and he said, "Well, why are you doing the recreation job?" I said, "Well, because I quit up at Los Pinos because of this situation, and I wasn't gonna, I don't like people lying on me." He says, "Okay." I said, "Well, let me tell you what I'm gonna do." He said, "With all your experience, can you work in a unit?" And I said, "Sure." And he said, "Well, when can you go to work?" I said, "I can go to work right now." So I went to work, and all he did was transfer me from Los Pinos to juvenile hall.
Mm-hmm.
That's the truth.
Mm-hmm.
That was God was watching out for me. So that's how I got that. That's how I got into corrections. But I was working on the correctional counseling. I wanted to be a marriage, family, and I wanted to go that way. But I was working on the teacher's credential and master's at the same time in education. Okay, I was going to Chapman University, and then I had a emergency credential. That's when I started subbing at juvenile hall. Okay, and then 75, I switched over to Albert Sitting Home, and I was working there. I had I had the toddler boys in the evening, and you give them a bath and that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so I went in. The principal put a job application in my box over at Otto Fisher. So I filled it out, and I went in for an interview, and that was the program that they were starting was the student assistant project, and they said I interviewed so well they created a position for me, and so the 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 31st of November, the lady came from over at probation, and she said we have a spot for you in the next probation class. And I said, "Oh no!" I said, I'm going tomorrow. I start with the Orange County Department of Education, and that was the bird in the hand is worth two in the bush. You got what I'm saying?
Right.
Okay, because what she wanted, we all wanted to be probation officers. Remember, and
Yeah.
I had competed for a probation officer and senior counselor, but never quite made it. Okay, and I didn't tell anybody I don't know, but they must have heard about that I was going to be going to the education, and she came, Barbara Surgis. I remember her name, and she
Yeah.
said she told me that at night you're going to be you'll be in the next probation class, and I said I'm sorry, I appreciate your concern, but I'm moving on.
Yeah. It's funny. We need to wrap up here, but
Okay,
some of your tales, your stories, your life journey through the correctional education are very similar. I got a lot very similarities with you and stuff, but to kind of close out with Kimberly's quote about find the truth before the truth finds you, is that I think in what we talked about today was that all the things that we've explored and experienced and even discussed today is about searching for the truth and finding it. And so, anyway, I want to thank you for a nice session, and we'll say goodnight and talk with you later. Over and
okay,
out.
all right,
Those of you that are out there listening, subscribe to our page so that you can get the notifications of when we're going to record again.